I saw a strange sight. I stumbled upon a story most strange. Like nothing my life, my street sense, my sly tongue had ever prepared me for. Hush, child, hush now, and I will tell it to you. Even before the dawn one Friday morning, I noticed a young man, handsome and strong, walking the alleys of our city. He was pulling an old cart filled with clothes both bright and new, and he was calling in a clear bass voice.
Rags, new rags for old, rags.
Now this is a wonder, I thought to myself, for the man stood 6'4", and his arms were like tree limbs, hard and muscular, and his eyes flashed intelligence. Could he find no better job than this, to be a ragman in the inner city? I followed him. My curiosity drove me, and I wasn't disappointed. Soon the ragman saw a woman sitting on her back porch. She was sobbing into a handkerchief, sighing and shedding 1,000 tears. Her knees and elbows made a sad X. Her shoulders shook. Her heart was breaking. The ragman stopped his cart. Quietly he walked to the woman, stepping around tin cans, dead toys, and pampers.
Give me your rag,
He said so gently.
and I'll give you another.
He slipped the handkerchief from her eyes. She looked up, and he laid across her palm a linen cloth so clean and new that it shined. She blinked from the gift to the giver. Then, as he began to pull his cart again, the ragman did a strange thing. He began to weep, to sob as grievously as she had done. His shoulders were shaking, yet she was left without a tear. This is a wonder, I breathed to myself. I followed the sobbing ragman like a child who cannot turn away from mystery. In a little while, when the sky showed gray behind the rooftops, and I could see the shutting curtains hanging out black windows, the ragman came upon a boy whose head was wrapped in a bandage, whose eyes were empty. Blood soaked his bandage. A single line of blood ran down his cheek. Now the ragman looked upon this child with pity, and he drew a clean rag from his cart.
Give me your rag,
He said, tracing his own line on his cheek.
and I'll give you mine.
The child could only gaze at him while he loosened the bandage, removed it, and tied it to his own head. As he set the bandage on his head, I gasped at what I saw, for the bandage went the wound. Against his brow ran a darker, more substantial blood. His own.
Rags, new rags for old, rags.
Cried the sobbing, bleeding, strong, intelligent ragman. The sun hurt, both the sky, now, and my eyes. The ragman seemed more and more to hurry. Soon the ragman saw a woman who leaned against a telephone pole.
Are you going to work?
He asked the woman. The woman shook her head. The ragman pressed her.
Do you have a job?
Are you crazy?
Sneered the other. She pulled away from the pole, revealing the right sleeve of her jacket. Flat. The cuff stuffed into the pocket. She had no arm.
So,
Said the ragman.
give me your jacket, and I'll give you mine.
Such quite authority in his voice. The one-armed woman took off her jacket. So did the ragman, and I trembled at what I saw, for the ragman's arm stayed in its sleeve, and when the other put it on, she had two good arms, thick as tree limbs, but the ragman had only one.
Go to work.
He said. After that, he found a drunk, lying unconscious beneath a raggedy blanket, an old man, hunched, wizened, and sick. He took that blanket and wrapped it around himself. But for the drunk, he left new clothes. And now I had a run to keep up with the ragman. Though he was weeping and bleeding freely at the forehead, pulling his cart with one arm, stumbling for drunkenness, falling again and again, exhausted, old and sick, yet he went with terrible speed. On spider's legs, he skittered through the alleys of the city, this mile and the next, until he came to its limits, and then he rushed beyond. I wept to see the change in this man. I hurt to see his sorrow. And yet, I knew to see where he was going in such haste, perhaps to know what drove him so. He came to a landfill. He came to the garbage pits. And then I wanted to help him in what he did. But I hung back, hiding. He climbed a hill. With tormented labor, he cleared a little space on that hill. Then he sighed. He lay down. He pillowed his head on a handkerchief and a jacket. He covered his bones with a raggedy blanket. And he died. That death. I slumped in a junk car and wailed and mourned as one who has no hope, because I had come to love the ragman. Every other face had faded in the wonder of this man, and I cherished him, but he died. I sobbed myself to sleep. I did not know. How could I know that I slept through Friday night and Saturday, and its night too. But then on Sunday morning, I was wakened by a violence. Light, pure, hard, demanding light, slammed against my sour face, and I blinked, and I looked, and I saw the last and first wonder of all. There was the ragman, folding the blanket most carefully, a scar on his forehead, but alive. And besides that, healthy. There was no sign of sorrow nor of age, and all the rags that he had gathered shined for cleanliness. Well, then I lowered my head, and trembling for all that I had seen, I myself walked up to the ragman. I told him my name with shame, for I was a sorry figure next to him. Then I took off all my clothes in that place, and I said to him with dear yearning in my voice, "Dress me." He dressed me. My Lord, he put new rags on me, and I am a wonder beside him.
So, as of right now, can you guys take a minute to reflect on the skit and what you have watched, please?